transformation, even diffusion, vast and fast. Detailed facts are fled. Within seconds, nuggets of words that flew across borders are fired. Stories short and long, wrapped in bundles of words, broken and dissected as it is, except misheard. This is the news as it is.
According to the words of Michael Forbes, one who never asks questions either knows everything.
All right, welcome back to the show. It's still Morning Spring on Western Spring Television, and we're still speaking with the two doctors from the United States of America. Dr. Maridunti Oluwadare is a convener of the Social Rehabilitation Group, and Dr. Ademola Bayonle is a former governorship candidate of the Young Progressive Party, YPP, in the July 16th governorship election in Osun State. Now, doctors, I'll start with Dr. Maridunti now. What qualities do you think Nigeria's next president must possess vis-a-vis the current Nigerian situation?
Yeah, I think the most important quality for me is the understanding of the problems. And I know Dr. Bayonle spoke about, reality and all that. But, the reality in the United States is different from the reality in Nigeria. The reality in Lagos is actually even different from the reality in Akure, where I'm from. It's different from the reality in Kaduna. When we talk about, maybe so many, new exciting stuff, yeah, that is good. But you have to think about the reality of your local, In Nigeria right now, we still have about maybe just 258,000 people graduating from tertiary institution. We are not yet at that place. So when we talk about, maybe someone who is the age being exclusionary, maybe not directly exclusionary, but, maybe as a disadvantage in terms of creativity, well, historically, Thomas Edison was still being creative in his, late 70s. He actually even invented the motion picture. A lot of people probably don't know that. Elon Musk started as a, PayPal in the early 90s. Then he moved to Tesla, SpaceX, and all of that. He's still being creative. Bill Gates started as a very young guy too, fresh out of university. He didn't even finish. Then with Steve Jobs, still with all of that. But, even I can even go as young as, what is called Mark Zuckerberg. But since the Zuckerberg generation, really, there's been not a lot of new, young 20, 25-year-olds coming up with amazing, great things in this world. That is my own personal growth with people in my own generation, because we have let social media, move us away from those hard work that those guys did to get to where they are. So, but when you talk about the current condition in Nigeria, you need someone who understands the problem. Because without an understanding of the problem, you are not going to solve it. You are not going to solve it. And that is the reason why I am, really rooting for Asiwaju, because he has shown for decades that he understands the problem. And he has positioned himself in a way that he can fix the problem. He's not just coming in to be, the one-man president who is going to just automatically have a magical leadership skill and just make everybody do whatever they want them to do. No, you have to be able to build the governing consensus that will get your ideas done. So we want to implement ChatGPT. How do you explain that to the senator from Borno to vote for it? Then he will ask you, how is that going to affect my, battle areas? Because those are his constituencies. Those are the ones that sent him to, to Abuja. So that is the reality that we need to, focus on. We need to get off, we the elites need to get off our high horse of feeling like everybody is like us. No, majority of, we're actually an endangered minority, we the elite. The majority of the Nigerian youth, of the Nigerian people, their reality is what obtains within Nigeria. So if we are trying to talk about bringing sweat to, we can't even do electronic voting in Nigeria because of the way the system is. Our system is not that mature. So while electronic voting is good, they do it in some places. Even in the United States, they don't actually do flat out electronic voting. There's like a paper backup and all of that, because of the way their environment is in terms of like trusting and all of that. So, how do you prove if we say we want to start electronic voting? How do you prove that someone did not hack into our next server and then put in some numbers? Common beavers. We saw what happened in Osun State. We are talking right now. So that is the reality that we need to understand, that we are not going to jump. We are not going to jump 2 generations ahead to be in the level of the United States. We have to be able to walk through the hard work of our, the nitty-gritty of our own growth. We are still going to have to walk through the farms. We are not just going to develop or impose the power on Nigerians to be able to make computers right now. No, the way we are still going to have to go is to go back to the farm and then during that period, educate Nigerians, enough Nigerians so that we can bring the machineries and then maybe start making computers gradually. We still need to move in that because growth is laborious most of the time. So we need to be able to do that. It's not just about, the age. Like a question said, understanding of the problem is the most important thing to me in this election. And that is what I see in Asiwaju.
All right, Dr. Maridotti, I'm going to get back to you. But Dr. Bayonle, what qualities, just like my colleague asked Dr. Maridotti, what qualities do you think the next president should possess, that would lift us out of the dilemma we're in right now?
Thanks again. Thanks for the question. I mean, the good old competence, character, and capacity are basic. But I even want to go a little bit, so a couple of step back and say, you see, we need to have leaders that love the people. You have to actually genuinely have concern and love for your people. Feel their pain, be humane, be human and humane. Understand that there are different strata across socioeconomic levels. There's the rich, there's the middle class, and there's the poor. Understands that people, actually, whatever you do affects the people. At this point also, we need a leader that can actually unite us. There's so much division across ethnic groups, across religious groups, across so many Nigerians. So we need somebody who can look at us in the face and say it is well. We can do it. We need somebody who will not do things across tribal lines, across nepotistic lines. We need, like I said, we need somebody who is actually going to unite us. Again, I'm looking for, of course, sincerely, I think I've seen it in all the candidates. I've seen the character, the consistency of values. I've seen the skill set. I've seen the capacity in most of them. But I don't want us to use all these big English so that we lose focus of the genuineness of what we actually are looking for. And like I've always said, you see, the point of leadership is to move the society forward. The point is for you to be a leader that will move us from step 1 to step 2. So when I'm looking for somebody who can actually genuinely, who have the passion to do that, to solve our problems and make sure that after 4 or 8 years, it does not leave us back to status quo. And that's why, again, I'm talking about somebody who is going to be here long after he even leaves office, so that all of us will benefit from whatever he created, whatever policies he created. Do you understand? Some people are on the last leg of the race of life, so they don't have anything to lose again. I want somebody whose children's children are going to be in the same society he worked to create. So, I mean, this is a very pivotal time for Nigeria. It's almost an election in Africa. And it's almost like Africa is going to election. One of every 5 Black person is Nigeria. So all eyes on us. And our leader must have that charisma also to command the respect across the 51 African countries, to be the leader that we actually desire. There's no point having a leader who is not leading us somewhere. You have to be that kind of. So those are the tiny little things I'm looking at. Also, for people who live in diaspora, you'll be surprised how the positioning, the stature, the tone of the president in Nigeria affect our own image. So we need a leader that can be that leader in Nigeria, that can stand straight and say, yes, this is our country. We are Nigerians. We are Black people. We are strong people. We are educated people. We know what we are doing. And that will also call on us that are even outside the country. So those are the kind of features I'm looking for in somebody I will call my president.
All right, Dr. Maridotti, I said I would get back to you. You raised some points about the youth, when you were speaking the last time. And it seems like you don't even think that youths have anything to bring to the table. Why is that? Because I would have expected that as a youth and, from Nigeria, that you would have stayed back in Nigeria, to put in all this hard work that you were expecting from the youth, that you would have done that, while here. So I want to know that, do you think that I want to know if you think that the youth do not even have anything to offer in the Nigerian system of today?
No, I don't believe the youth don't have anything to offer. I believe the youth have a lot of work to do on themselves, on ourselves. We have a lot of work to do. We cannot keep on, just focusing on making memes, checking out what's trending on social media and all that. We need to drop those phones, do a lot of hard work, do a lot of thinking, start something mega. The youth have done a lot, like we've started a lot of businesses without even having electricity. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But we need to do a lot more. Like we need to show a lot more, understanding. Like the average kind of conversation that you would have with an average youth in the world right now, not just Nigeria, the world right now is not deep enough. Because and that's why I blamed on the social media, because there's actually what's called the dumbing down of the world right now that everybody's been observing, because people don't even have time to think. There's so much things to do before you get off of WhatsApp to Snapchat to Instagram and all that. So it's not like the youth don't have a lot to offer, but they have to work, because if this trend continues whereby people don't think, I don't understand the kind of world that we'll be living in 40 years' time. I mean, when you think about it, just to go to what Dr. Badi was talking about, like Martin Luther King started the civil rights movement fight as a 26-year-old. He was killed as a 38-year-old. They are still celebrating him till today. So, but we are not, our own particular generation is not yet there. So it's not like you don't have a lot to offer. They just have a lot of work to do. And also back to what we're talking about, what Dr. Badi was talking about in terms of like a leader with character and capacity and love for the people. It's like he was campaigning for, Asiwaju, because that is essentially who he is, the capacity. Everybody has seen it. Nobody disputes that. The love for the people. Everybody knows. You can go to Lagos. You can go and ask the average Agbero in Lagos the way he has been able to, over the generations, rehabilitate them and try to, have sympathy for them. He said maybe because his mother was a market woman and he had to live with all of them, And also, the most important uniter is prosperity. And I can give you an example of the Middle East. The rich countries in the Middle East, they are peaceful. The ones where they are poor, they are the ones that have the war and all the terrorism and all that. So once we can get somebody that can bring us prosperity, like was done in Lagos, whereby it is now the 5th largest economy in the whole of Africa. We can't afford. There are so many things in Nigeria. Nigeria has so much potential. Nigeria should not be importing the metals that we are using to build our streets from China. We should be smelting those things in Nigeria because we have it. Nigeria should be competing with Russia, which was what Asiwaju was talking about. And when he spoke about that, I understood what he was talking about.
All right.
Nigeria should be competing with Russia in selling gas and all of that.
All right.
To Europe.
Okay, Dr. Maridotti, good submission there, your own personal submission. But as we round off, I'd like to ask the both of you. I'll start with Dr. Bayonle. 2 questions in one, very quickly answer them. What should be the priority areas for the next president? And both of you are young men. What factors should the Nigerian youth put into consideration while voting for who would lead them for the next 4 years, in the first instance?
Okay. Do you want me to go first?
Yes, Dr. Bayonle, you go first.
Yeah, so let me quickly have this. If you see a failed society, look at the leaders of those society. Like my fellow doctor has said, if he thinks that the youth are not thinking in the right direction, we need to look at the leaders of that society. And who are our leaders today? There's something called a social contract. I am supposed to fulfill my own part of the bargain as a young person, go to school, be a good citizen. The person that is supposed to provide the enabling environment and my other social safety, what have you, are the leaders. And when they fail to do that, I mean, it's whatever they get that is in their front right now. So, and if the youth decide to take the laws into their hands, so much more that we actually hit the street and said, we need to end SARS, we need to end bad governance. In fact, we need to even be in power ourselves. Something is wrong. And the sincere ones of the older generation have told us they have failed us. That in fact, we need to, as a matter of urgency, take charge of our destiny and of our life. Now to your question, what are the priority areas that Nigeria needs, the next leader needs to look at? Number one, I've said it, the national unity is important. You see, we have to stay united. The Igbos, Hausas, and the Yorubas and the other ethnic group, we need to love ourselves. So we need something that will bring us together and make us stay united. That's number one. Number two, security. You see, nobody brings invention or investment to an insecure environment. A lot of people from out of the country, from even within the country, now you are probably in Oshobo. If you want to go to Abuja, you probably read Psalm 23 like 8 times and had Psalm 91 to 8, or probably even cancel the appointment. That means you're missing out on other opportunities. A lot of people cannot go for NYSC or law schools in the north or in the south because of these insecurity problems. People cannot move at night. It's not only bad people that move at night. People have business meetings, people have all kinds of engagements to do. People cannot move at night. So we need to solve our security issues. Economy is another area. You see, Nigeria's economy is something that needs a complete overhaul. We need to diversify our economy. We cannot be exporting crude oil and be importing PMS. It does not make any sense in 2023. So we need somebody who can think through that economic structure. And actually, we have so many natural resources in Nigeria, so many things. Our budget right now is about 8 trillion, and we want so much debt. Let me save you on that area. Right. So I mean, I think the last one you said, what factors?
Yeah, should just very quickly. Yes, very quickly.
Very quickly, what factors should people? Again, people should be looking at who can give us all the things I've just said. Who can unite us? Who can improve the economy? Who can actually bring lasting peace? Who can actually bring innovation to the system? Who can give us the good health care?
All right.
If you look at that, don't look at your tribe. Don't be tribalistic when you're thinking about it. Don't look at anything personal. Look at the people and see who can actually take us away from this mess. Then we'll get it right.
All right, thank you. Dr. Oludare, very quickly, 1 minute, 45 seconds. What should be the priority areas for the next president, and what factors should the youth consider in voting?
And mine is going to go first to security. And the way to do about security is to decentralize the policing, increase the numbers, give the people the charge of their police. Like I will always say, you won't give the front door key to your house to the chairman of landlord association on your street. So the people, the communities need to be in charge of their policing. Then they can fish out bad actors. Then we need to go to electricity because, there is nothing that we can do if we don't have 24 hours electricity. Electricity is the greatest invention, like I showed you, in the last 1,000 years. I believe electricity is actually the connective tissue for prosperity. So we need to fix that one. And our economy too, we need to get rid of, this unnecessary subsidy. We need to do away with the opaque, exchange rates, because those things are exceedingly retarding our economy. And I want to go just like what Dr. Bade said also. Unity is very important, and there's actually one part of unity that Nigeria has not exploited. We have multiple languages in our country. Why don't we teach ourselves our languages so that we can speak it? When I meet an Igbo person that can speak Yoruba, it is easier for me to communicate with that person, and it's easier for that person to communicate with me. Why have we not invested in it? Why did the previous administration, the PDP administration, stop investing in language studies, whereby even history is no longer a part of our curriculum anymore in Nigeria? So those things, and I feel like what the people should focus on is themselves. Who has the pedigree to give them what they want? Don't think about any of the presidential candidates, because this election is not about them. It's actually about you. It's about your life. So think about who has done it before. You can see it. It is glaring. You can see it from space. The growth in Lagos. I was watching Jeremy My Lover like 2 days ago, and I was seeing Ikoyi, and I can't believe that was actually Ikoyi because of all the skyscrapers and everything that is there right now. So let us focus on who can give us what we want. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mari-Dotty. Well, as the show this morning, we've been speaking with 2 doctors from the United States of America, Dr. Charles Mari-Dotty Oludare, the convener of the Social Rehabilitation Group. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning. And of course, former governorship candidate of the Young Progressive Party in the July 16th governorship election in Osun State, Dr. Ademola Bayonle. Thank you so much, doctors, for being on the show this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right. Have a lovely day. But that's the show this morning. I'll be coming back to bring you who is trending. The First Lady is in the news, and Emperor Wike is in the news. And of course, one of our favorite actors, Popo, is in the news. But that will be after this break. Well,
I can't wait for Emmanuel to unveil all that he has to offer today. Thank you very much for joining us on the Morning Spring on Western Spring Television today. Have a great day. I am Temitope Ajijola Oluwala.